We're going to be talking today, we're going to be talking today about mastering the sell. And welcome, by the way, you're joining us here from the WMG Wealth Nation office. We're going to be talking about the art of mastering the sale, and it's something that has been something that I've been talking on already with a couple of you on Zoom. And I think if you're ready to learn, you need to grab your pens and papers right now, because it's going to be some influential information, some life-changing information, but it's also going to release the kind of success that you've been looking for all this time. And I always say this, selling is sometimes quite a dirty word for a lot of people, but if you don't know how to sell, you're essentially not in business in the first place. And it's amazing how many people join businesses like ours with the hope that the business is going to change their life, but not with the faith that the business is going to change their life. What do I mean by that? They think that the business is going to change their life, but what they don't know is if they don't change, the business doesn't change in order to change their life. If they don't make some actions, if they don't move towards the kind of success that they need to move towards to release the success that they're intending on releasing, then nothing really works out the way that it's meant to. But sales is one of those essential skills. Now, guys, I hope those of you who are with us from WMG TV, I hope you're active on this chat, that you're talking back, that you're asking questions, because some of the guys are going to keep up with any YouTube questions that you have. Also, if you're in WMG already, this is one of those where you want to speak to your team right now and say you need to jump on this call because it's going to be highly influential. It's going to be very important for you to hear. But we are talking today about mastering the art of a sale. And you can see, listen, part of a CEO's life, everything's hectic. And you can see we were hectic. It was a bit shambolic to begin with, but we move. We have to do what we have to do. We have to build the way we have to build. Let me tell you something. I've had an interesting week. I can't tell you it's the worst week of my life. Actually, what I will tell you is it's been the best week of my life. And part of the reason why it's been the best week of my life is because there's been trouble that's been stirred up and different things about me, and people are talking. But can I tell you something? You're not doing anything of any repute if there's not a group of people who hate you for whatever reason. You're not doing anything of any repute if you're part of the popularity movement that's going on in the world today. It means that you have to be somebody who's willing to stand out, be different amongst the pack, and get things done, to be somebody who's criticized. So I'm in great company right now, and I want to call all of you who are watching me to stand out. Listen, you only have one life. You only have this life to live, and I want you to make it count. I want you to make it matter. I want, by the time you're done in life, that you live your life with no regrets. And part of living your life with no regrets is the art of selling itself. Because in life, nobody in the world is buying a product from you. Nobody's buying a product from you. Everybody in life, I've come to realize, more than anything in this world, everybody's buying you. Your product is the extension of you. This is why we're putting so much money and time into the new WMG website. Part of why we're doing that, guys, is because we so believe in the business, and the business has to be a reflection of the CEO. And I love excellence. I like things being done with excellence. Despite the lack of excellent start that we just had, I actually said, guys, we're setting up everything 3 hours before today, just to make sure that we had an excellent start, and then the internet decided to be the internet and do what the internet does. But anyway, we're still here. Everything about maximizing who you are is going to be the art of selling. You might have the greatest thing. I'm talking to CEOs. I'm not just talking to my WMG people. I'm talking to any CEO that's out there. You might have the greatest idea in the whole world right now sitting on the inside of you. But if you don't know how to master the art of selling, nobody knows about it. Nobody knows about it. And there's various reasons why we don't sell. There's various reasons why we don't talk the way we need to talk, or sell the way we need to believe. We call them limiting beliefs. There are limiting beliefs, and I want to address this before we go into the art of selling. There are limiting beliefs that you have, and excuse me, I'll be talking to the people in this room as well if you see me looking down. But there are limiting beliefs that you have both, and this is why I want to need especially the Zoom bunch. Is anyone on Zoom right now? Is anyone on the Zoom live? Can you post the Zoom live in the chat as well, in the lead chat? But is anyone looking at Zoom right now? because the Zoomers will have more instant access to write back to my questions. Anyone? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Anyone on Zoom? And you can see questions. Awesome. So what I want to ask you is this, and even in this room I can ask this question. There are limiting beliefs about two things, and excuse my writing, I never claimed to be good at writing, but there are limiting beliefs about two things. You will have limiting beliefs about yourself, and you will have limiting beliefs about your business. Can you tell me right now, those of you who are on Zoom, tell me what are some of your limiting beliefs that exist, either about self or about business? Or give me some of the things that you've heard people say when you try and share the business with them. If you're in the room, you can tell me as well.
I'm not confident enough.
Okay, what's that about? Someone said not confident enough. What's that about? Is that about the business or about self?
Self.
Self. So not confident.
Trading isn't my thing.
What's that about? Well, it's a bit about self. You're going to realize a lot of it is nothing to do with the business. Everything's to do with self. But we'll make that one about trading is not my thing, business.
Not knowing enough.
What's that about? Self or business?
Self.
Not knowing enough. Yeah?
Not enough
Time.
time.
Okay.
Too expensive.
Too expensive. Business or self?
Self.
Business. Too expensive.
Not knowing enough.
Yep, we've already got that.
Comparing myself to others.
Okay.
Self.
Other comparison, yeah. Don't worry about my writing. I hope you can read it.
I've got other stuff going on. I'll come back to it.
Other stuff going on. I'm not going to bother writing. Other stuff going on. I'm going to come back to it, right? What else? Oh, come on, you haven't even given some big objections. Like, what do you get as, let's say you're a referral marketing business guy. What are some of the objections you get when you talk to people? Risky. Okay. Huh? Scam. Got to go there. What else?
It's a pyramid.
Pyramid. Thank you. Some of you are acting too afraid. It's a pyramid. These are all the things that you're going to hear out there. And unfortunately, if you're not equipped to handle objections, if you don't know how to handle objections when they come, guess what you're going to think? Now, this is going to be a horrible statement to say if you look at it the politicized way. You're going to think no means no. That means something in the political world. No does mean no in the political world. But in the business world, no never means no. It doesn't. All of these are not no's. All of these are invitations. What people have told you in everything they said is they've given you an invitation. They've given you an opportunity in everything they're saying to overcome an objection. Now we're going to look at drawing out objections, the necessity for it, but three things need to change. I want you to know the importance of selling. Selling is important to everything in life. If you don't know how to sell right now, especially those of you, and I don't say this to laugh or joke, but those of you who are single right now, if you don't know how to sell, you're never going to meet the person that you want to be with. You know, they're probably walking past you every single day, but you don't know how to sell to them. You don't know what to say to them. You don't know how to, and let me tell you, if those of you who are married on here, you are salespeople. At some point in your life, you sold something. And part of what you sold, you might have sold the fact that you've got money. Sterling. You might have sold the fact that you got a nice smile. You know, you were smiling because other people told you you have a nice smile. So now you smile with that side smile and you smirk a little bit and you look down because somebody told you. And now that's your unique selling point. That's what you sell about yourself. Maybe you sell the fact that you've got gift of gab or whatever it is, but everybody sells on their strengths. Maybe you sell the fact that you're an extremely humorous person. But what I'm saying essentially is everybody in the world is a salesperson. We're all salespeople. If we weren't salespeople, there would be no such thing as disappointment. It wouldn't exist. There'll be no such thing as hurt or offense. No one comes to the first day of a job with you. Let's say I employ quite a lot of people. When they come, you do an interview with them. And no one ever comes to the interview saying, I'm going to destroy this workplace, and actually I'm going to get all the confidential information and I'm going to spread it online, and I'm going to be mean, and I'm going to leave all my dirty stuff on the floor, and I'm going to be the last, the latest to come in, but the first to leave the workplace. What do we all do on the first day of the job in the interview? we sell ourselves hard. We say, I'm going to be, in my old job, I was the #1 person, the biggest biller in the workplace. I was the earliest to come in. I pride myself on being early, and I'm a team worker and a team player, and you sell yourself on your best strengths. I remember doing interviews with people and just seeing with intrigue how well some people sell themselves and how badly other people sell themselves. But every single day is the opportunity to sell yourself. And if you learn how to passively sell, actively selling is very easy. If you learn, what do I mean by passive selling? If you learn to be credible as a person, you will find selling very easy. What am I essentially saying? The people you're trying to sell to will flock towards you if you know how to sell well. Now, part of selling well is very important, that you are the very thing that you advertise. You first got to know this. If you're going to sell well, you first got to know absolutely what you stand for. Do you know why I'm going to say this? And my life has been proving this week. Thinking is becoming illegal. And if you don't know what you stand for, you're going to think everybody's your market when they're not. And you're going to spread yourself so thin, trying to run around to please every single individual, and your market exists. And let me tell you, your market exists, and somebody right now is advertising to your market and eating all your money. Your market exists. So people say, I don't have the right people to talk to. You have not yet defined your market because you haven't defined you. What are the things you want to achieve? Why do you want to achieve them? These are things you got to set on yourself. In fact, three things have to change in order for you to be successful in any business. Number one thing that has to change, your mindset absolutely has to change. If you believe you can get away with in business being the same person and expecting some level of success, it's never going to happen. Your mindset has to be the first thing to change. See, on this call right now, I don't know how many people are on Zoom and how many people are on YouTube, but on this call, we have a business of over 600 people. Our influence is over 1,000 in WMG if you look at our trophy room. But we have a business full and wide of people. But you'll see only a few come onto calls like this because not everybody wants to change. And part of the secret to successful change in any area of your life, it has to first begin with how you think. If you don't like the life you have, just change the way you're thinking about the life you have. Everything in this world that exists around you is coming from within you. And so three things must change. Must. See, if you've come in to WMG or any kind of business with the attitude that you're going to succeed and build a business and be a great person, but you're going to succeed on the same mindset, it won't be possible. Even your phone knows there has to be a software update. It has to come regularly. Otherwise, what happens is it becomes useless with new applications that are coming towards it. And if you fail to update, literally you become outdated. If you don't learn how to grow your mind, you become outdated. And there are so many people who believe they will be here forever. How long you've been in the game does not matter. Think about Nokia. Nokia thought they would be around. Remember all of us? I'm not talking to Gen Zs because they probably don't know what it is, but remember we were playing Snake on the back of the bus. Do you remember we believed the indestructible phone would be here forever, the Nokia 3310 that we all wanted to have, but your parents got your Motorola because it was cheaper, but you were looking at the friend who had the Nokia, and you were taking it in turns to play Snake on your phone, then Snake 2 came out. We thought this would be around forever, but guess where it died? Someone else out-innovated them. Where we were getting comfortable. See, life, if you haven't realized, is a massive competition. And life is hugely unfair. In fact, if you sit down with gynecologists, they'll tell you something. I forget how many, maybe someone can Google it, but this is going to sound a bit crude, but if you're mature, it won't. When your parents do the jiggy or whatever, I know you don't want to think about that, but there was a day that they did. When your parents did that, they released you into let's not go there, but your dad did his thing, right? There were millions of chromosomes released. Was it like 23 chromosomes released through each one of these spermatozoa running? Life began literally. This is why I want to comfort people who believe life needs to be fair. Life doesn't necessarily need to get fair till you get stronger. Life is designed in a way, it's unfair to make you tougher. You got a business to do, but it's not fair. You got sick. Let me tell you, in a job, you could call your boss and say, I'm ill, I can't do it. In a business, if you're sick, the business is sick, especially when you're at the beginning phases. So guess what? You have to get up out of bed. You have to make the sacrifices that you need to make. Picture this, millions of spermatozoa were released, each carrying 23 chromosomes. Do you know what gynecologists call you, the one that made it to the egg? They call it the champion seed. They call it the champion seed. Why? Because what life was doing when that race, that's why we call it the human race, what life was doing when that race began was that every single weak or incapable or unresourceful swimmer died. You were the only one who made it. Now you're in life. You were the best out of millions. Think about that. Out of millions of personalities, you're the best one. You are the chosen seed to fertilize with the egg. Does that explain a lot, Sterling?
It really does.
Right? You're the champion seed. Now you've arrived in life and you want to fail? Now you've arrived in life and you want to whine about how uneasy life is and how unfair life is? Life introduced you with a fight. It began with a struggle to make you more resilient. That's why the worst thing you can tell yourself is, I'm tired. I give up, I quit. Tiredness is actually not a real thing, it's an attitude. In fact, when we think, psychologists will tell you, when we think we're giving our all to something, like some of you think you're tired, I've given my all to life. Psychologists will tell you you've only really given 30%. You ever been to the gym and you thought you were giving it, you were doing everything, but you realize you're not giving you all? What am I saying? You can't come into business to try. You can't. For me, failure is not an option. This mountain, I'm going through it, round it, above it, whatever I need to do. But me and this mountain, by the time we're done, you're gone. In business, the mindset has changed. What's the mindset change? In a job, you're an employee. If you come to this office, I'm always like, I'm kind of intense with people. If you don't think with a solution brain, like I was with young Jasmine in the office, she was like, where's the plug for this, where's the plug for that? And I said, will you just think for yourself? Look for certain things. Let me say something. She sharpened up real quick. She said, do you know what? You're right. I've been thinking like an employee for so long. You're trying to teach me to think like a leader. A leader doesn't look around him for solutions. The leader becomes the solution. See, the mindset has to change. What's your mindset shift? Your mindset has to shift first from being a job mentality to a business mentality. And for those of you who have been in a job for a long time, a job gives you a psychology. The psychology the job gives you is security and fear. That's what a job gives you. That's why we have jobs. In a job, we love jobs because in a job, somebody tells us what to do. Somebody told you when to wake up in the morning. Somebody told you when you go to sleep. Somebody told you how much time you're going to spend with your children. Somebody dictated that for you in the job atmosphere. In a business, see, I wake up in the morning, 4:30 a.m. I'm up. Where's my boss? I'm up. What am I doing 4:30? I'm meditating, I'm praying, and I'm reading my books. Why? Because it's before my kids wake up. Let me tell you, when your kids wake up, here's supply and here's demand. Everything's gone. From the moment they whine and jump on you, and I'm telling you, every parent on here, I don't know what they call them, but they use them in USC, the cup. What's it to guard you? Every parent needs one if you're a male parent. By the time your kids have jumped on you and low-blowed you 10 times just in the morning, your energy is gone. Then they pull your beard. Then one scratches the other. Then you get involved in the politics of who took whose toy. And by the time 1 hour of the morning is done, though you're grateful for these bundles of joy, you also just wonder if you could sleep them for a moment. And then you have to get up, then you come to work, regardless of what happens, regardless of who messes you up on the call, regardless of how you're dragged online or whoever says bad things about you. You have to set the altitude of your workplace. Somebody wrote something nasty about me. One of my business partners saw it and said, are you okay? Are you sad? I can't be sad. If I am, I'm the lid on the business. I have to determine how I feel. And so I chose today, when I caught myself hanging my head low, I said, screw it, you're a king, stand up. Get on with this. You're tougher. And then this little voice, you know, that little voice with the small violin wants you to have a pity party about how terrible your life is. My life's not terrible. My life is great because my mind is great. I still got my mind. I still got my mind. And literally someone said, so what are you going to do? How do you feel about all this stuff that's going on? Eagle. Chickens. I can't keep flying down. I'm an eagle. We're up here. See, the eagle's mind is different from a chicken. An eagle doesn't even know a chicken exists. If you said to an eagle, if an eagle could talk and you said chicken, they'll be like, what's one of those? Like chicken, buck, buck, buck. They say, oh, food. That's all it knows. What am I saying, guys? Your mindset has to change. Your mindset, 3 things have to change, and it's absolute. If you are not big on mindset shifting, you're not in business to win. You got to develop your mindset like you'll develop a muscle. It's got to be strong. It's got to be so strong. It's got to be stronger than life. It's got to be so strong, your mind. Your mind has to be stronger than life is against you. And you can't play in your mindset. You can't play in life not to lose. You know, there's those basketball players that play basketball or football, for example, and they're winning. So second half, guess what they're doing? They're not playing to win anymore. They're just playing not to lose. But the other teams in the halftime, we got nothing to lose, guys. Let's give it all. Let's go for it. And by the time they come back, they've smashed the other team. Why? You got familiar. The most dangerous thing you can do is get familiar with yourself. Yep. Most dangerous thing you can do in business is get comfortable. So when do you get to rest? Never. You're on. When do you rest? You rest in the work. You rest in the work. You rest. You work from that place that you are resolute, that you are rested on the inside, that you are sure that you have already succeeded. That's the mindset. And it can't just be a mind. Hear this. It's got to be a mindset. That means you've got to aggressively fix your mind on believing what you believe. Because everybody's going to come around you to tell you why this isn't possible. Everybody's going to come around you to explain why you shouldn't think the way you think. Because let me tell you what we fear in this world. The most dangerous thing in the world today is the individual. The person who thinks for himself. You've got to develop that resolute mind. You can't be in this business because I believe in you. My belief in you, what happens the day I choose not to believe in you? What happens the day I choose or I appear not to be believing in you anymore? If you don't have within yourself, that's what we call self-esteem. Self-esteem is only self-esteem when it is within yourself to determine your estimation. I promise you this is all to do with selling. And we're going there. You have to have a mindset, a swag to the way you live, to be able to be a salesperson. People feel the way you think. I'll say that again. People feel the way you think because your thoughts are transmitted through your feelings. And people feel the way you think. You are magnetized by the way you think. That's why some people, you see some people, you've seen them, you don't want to hang around them. You assume, like there's somebody who works in the office over here. Just here. She's not in today, but she... And let me tell you, every time I see it, it's like, she don't want to talk to nobody. She got this. I wonder, she's going to be in the business before she knows, but she's got this. That's right. And I'm like, I said to her, this will be, I'm an icebreaker. So I went, hi, how you doing? First day I came. She did this, I kid you not. She was on the phone, she goes, you put your finger in my face. I just wanted to grab it. And she went, I'm on the phone. I was like, whoa. Have you ever met people who just put that out? They've just got that, don't talk to me. That feeling of they're not friendly. Have you ever met people and you didn't even speak to them and you knew they weren't credible? Has that ever happened to you? It's not that's judgment. We all judge. We all judge. We just don't say it. That's a judgment. We've misjudged people many times. But have you ever met somebody and just the way they look, act, and talk, you just know. Like you can walk into a workplace and know the one that doesn't have friends because the way they think is the way they feel, and we feel how you think. Your mindset is everything. I know when I'm sitting in front of a winner. I know when I'm sitting in front of a champion. I feel it. I know when I'm sitting in front of a skeptic. I feel it. I feel how you think. Mindset is everything. Let me move on. The next thing you want to develop is your skills. You want to develop your skills. okay? And the various skills you want to develop, especially if you're a referral marketing type business, is this. You want to develop the skill of finding prospects. You want to develop the skill of finding prospects. You need to develop the skill of inviting. Some of you don't know that's a skill, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. You want to develop the skill of presenting. Presenting, that's a skill. What I'm doing right now is presenting. That's a skill. You want to develop a skill that a lot of people lack because they fear rejection. The skill of follow-up. Follow-up is all about drawing out objections and finding out what they are. It's a skill. It's a skill. All of these are skills. And we'll break them down as we in subsequent sessions. You need to develop the skill of the pre-close and the close. The skill of onboarding. That means when you bring somebody in, I could not believe it. Somebody brought someone in to WMG and they were in for 3 months and didn't even know there was a chat. I don't know how that happened. But they're like, yeah, I'm enjoying WMG TV, but what next? They write to me on Instagram. Well, are you in the signals? Are you on the... They didn't even know. I said, who is your upline? So-and-so and so-and-so. I said, I'm moving your team right now. I'm moving your team. This is, again, it's an attitude. If you see people as money, they'll leave you. Business is all about, what I'm teaching you right now is, what I'm going to teach you is sales is all about relationship building. It's everything to do with relationships. And if you don't learn how to be good with relationships, you can't be in sales. Onboarding. You have to be good at getting people started. That means if you're getting people started, you have to have a golden level. And the golden level is this. It's the level that you've determined in your mind to help your team get to, that gets them to commit. For me, it's senior partner. For me also, in terms of trading, I need you to open a trading account and put in your first few trades on a demo account and see it succeed. That needs to happen in month 1. You need to taste success. It's the sharks that you give a taste of blood that go hunting with you. You got to give them that taste. And you've got to develop the skill of promoting events. A lot of people are very bad at this. For example, when we post on Instagram, you've got to learn to develop a skill of commenting on the bottom of our post. Not just liking it, but atting your friends. Hey man, I think this would be really good for you. You've got to learn the skill of promotion. Okay. I don't know if you've realized, but there's a great motivation right now to build business. And the great motivation is they're already talking on the news about another Great Depression. If this isn't a motivation for you to start going, do you know what? But again, a lot of people are going to have the job mentality and say, my job's going to be fine. I'm coming off furlough and I'll find out I have a job. This is some of the mentality that we've developed over a long period of time. And we've literally learned, this is the thing, your mindset has been taught to you since you were a child. They taught you since you were a child, go to school, get a job. When you get this job, go to school, get a job, get married, get a mortgage. Mortgage means mortuary, which means death, gauge means grip, so get a death grip on your life. And then move on from there after you've got that death grip and pay it off for the rest of your life, and then die at some old age that you can't afford to retire on because you don't even have a pension that was inflation proof in the first place. And then when you die, because you didn't sort out your life insurance, your children inherited debt, and all they did, then they had to pay to bury you as well. Think about that. The misprioritization of financial stewardship. What I'm talking to you about is not get rich quick. I'm talking to you about financial stewardship. When you learn to steward money at a level, all you need to do to get rich is to increase the level at which you're stewarding, or to become more excellent at stewarding. The better you become at stewarding at the level that you're at, the more you increase. Now, part of your financial stewardship, or part of the levels you're going to go through in terms of leading people through a process, you're going to start with people who are going to be customers of your business, especially those of you on here in the referral marketing business. Why do you want to be in the referral marketing business? 50% of businesses die in the first year. 50% in the first year. So, we've made it past 3 years as a business, okay? 50% of all businesses die in the first year. 80% die after 5 years. So we're not in the safety place. Please don't think we are. 4% die in 10 years. Think about this. 50% die. This doesn't sound like good news. 50% die out of business in the first year. I'm just telling you this simple premise. Life is fighting against you. Life is betting for you to fail. Life has already placed its bet. You are not going to succeed. Life is the greatest school ever. It's better than your primary, secondary, any kind of school. What I want to teach my children is not maths and English. The teachers can teach them that. I want to teach them the school of life. What real life is, because I feel like school is now preparing us for a world that no longer exists. Okay, your children right now studying medicine when they should be studying robotics, because those robots are going to do better medicine than they are. Your children are studying other things when they should be studying digitization, aerospace technology. That's the future. But instead they're studying wine tasting. I don't know why there's a course for that, but so you're going to go through these various levels. 50% are out of business in the first year, 80% after 5 years, 4% after 10 years, 4% after 10 years. I'm trying to teach you to think here. That means life has already placed a bet against all of you who are on here. So imagine with 50% of people who have the intention and the grit to be big in business, 50% of them with that intention failed. By the way, business works 100% of the time when you follow 100% of the principles of business. I'll say it again. Business works 100% of the time when you follow 100% of the principles of business. I can say the same thing about marriage. Life is coded. Coded. And if you learn the hacks, you'll be successful. Every day I've determined to do a set of principles. And there are principles, we call these skills. There are principles for everything in life. Everything. And what I want to show you is the principle of selling. Are you ready? Guys, are you ready online? I'm ducking down from my iPad. I'm not disappearing. Are you ready online? The first level of a sell. I'm giving you the skill here. And by the way, the skill has to also become a mindset. But the first thing I want to put in you, I learned this. I'm not going to claim that I learned this for myself. This is all the things I learned in my green time. Okay? But the first thing I'm going to tell you is this formula that I learned. B 10 times B. In life, that's going to be your first principle. Be 10 times B. Be 10 times B. Be 10 times B. I've walked into this office in just a week, 2 weeks we've been here. I've noticed the politics already. You feel it. You walk in and you feel people peeing on their territory, literally. You feel like somebody has peed right there, and that's their chair. And if you talk, you're too loud. I can feel the politics. And either I could succumb to it and conform, and a lot of people are conformers because they're missing this formula. If you miss this formula, you're a conformer. If you get this formula, you're a transformer. It's a simple formula. It means this: be 10 times bolder in everything you do. See, I started this call kind of a bit exhausted. We've been setting up. I said, Toby, be bold. Be 10 times bolder in everything. If you start from a place where you're worried about what people are going to think, what they're going to say, you've already failed. This is a law of life. Life obeys the law of confidence. If you're bold, you'll start to see how you project and influence your atmosphere. But if you're fearful, you'll start to see how your atmosphere influences you. In everything, in every phone call you make, ask yourself, what would have happened if I was 10 times bolder? I'm always laughing at Miguel because when Miguel comes to the office, the guy is loud. You can hear Miguel from the car park downstairs talking on the phone. But that's part of his bold code. When he's speaking on the phone, guys, what I need you to do, he doesn't mind who he's offending. He might, but what's he offending really? He's offending the loser in you. What's he waking up? The champion in you. That's all. He's calling you higher, but sometimes we're just so afraid. Be 10 times bolder. That means this. You know, there's something lions do when they come into a territory. A lion will come in, first he'll come in bold. It will roar into the ground because the reverberations can be felt around, and it's announcing to the atmosphere a lion has just come into the territory. It's how you got to be when you come into your workplace. Good morning, how you doing? You can't walk in like, you know, some of you walk in and it's like, oh no, they've seen me. Like you don't want to even be seen in life. You are a walking apology. You are apologizing for your very existence in life. Be 10 times bolder. Are you with me? What's wrong? I can't. I'm moving. I move the cameras. The cameras are mobile. You can move them with me. Be 10 times bolder in everything that you do. Be 10 times bolder. This is the formula I wanted to give you. Now, let me give you this. My iPad keeps switching off. Is everyone still there?
We are.
Is everyone excited online?
Yes, they are.
Is everyone learning something?
Yes.
Cool. This is formula I learned. And listen, I can't remember the names of the people who taught it, but there was a group of people, and I want to share my spins on it as well. Okay? So, first thing here in the formula is this. IY. This is what you want every time you're doing a sale. Every time you're doing a sale, you want the IY. But IY, you need to write this formula equals S plus P plus I plus T and C, that is an and, T and C plus R. I'll say it again. IY equals S plus P plus I plus T plus C plus R. What is IY? Whenever I do a sale, this is what I want. I want an immediate yes. How many of you want a yes when you're doing a sale? How many would it would be powerful if every single time you got on the call, you got an immediate yes?
Yes.
I did a sales call with our guys this week. I taught them this formula, this exact formula. That same day, I decided, let me just test the formula and start doing what I do. I did a webinar with 5 people. 100% of them registered to the business that day. This formula. Man, I feel like just leaving you guys high and dry and just saying, well, that's it. Let's go. We've had a good time.
Please don't.
But IY,
Don't leave me.
what is the formula? And by the way, this isn't telling you you're going to get 100% yes, but let me tell you, you're going to get a lot less no's if you learn this. IY equals S plus P plus I plus T plus R. Okay, I'm going to rub this off because I need my board space. I hope you all recorded it. Okay. Here it is. What is IY? Immediate yes. But what is it equal? My iPad keeps switching off. Stay on. It equals this. S is solution. Are you with me?
Yes, we are.
P is problem. I'm going to show you why your sales are falling apart. I is information. Okay? T and C is trust and competence. Okay? R is rapport. Okay, let's draw this. This is supposed to be a triangle. Listen, I flunked art, so don't worry about it. It's supposed to be a triangle. It's a pyramid. I know, Illuminati, right? Okay. What is this saying? What is this saying? The first skill of the trade, and I'm going to reverse engineer your sales here. The first thing is this. When it comes to selling, the reason why I'm selling is I'm selling a solution. I'm selling a solution. But before you engage in the phone call, it's like going into sales without a solution is the equivalent of a soldier going into battle with no bullets in his gun. Before you even enter the cell, do you know what solutions you provide? What are your solutions? Please write them down in the chat. What solutions does WMG provide? A list of solutions. And by the way we write solutions in the business world, and I stole this from my old recruitment company. Listen, I've taken life examples from everywhere I've been. So I give credit to Nonstop Recruitment on this one. But in sales, we used to call this FABs. FABs stands for features, advantages, and benefits. Features, advantages, and benefits. That means this. If you're going to provide a solution, you need to tell me first the feature of the company. What is a feature? Then you need to tell me what the advantage of the feature is. Then you need to tell me what the benefit to me is of that advantage. What am I saying? So let's go through features. Has anyone given features?
Community.
Community. What's the advantage of a community? What's the advantage in this room?
You don't have to learn by yourself.
You don't learn by yourself, you learn with others. We can share a story. We all know that time we were self-learning by ourselves. We had no one to bounce anything off. What's the benefit? Safety in numbers. Safety in the multiplicity of people. Imagine a world where traders are trading together. It's not separated. You see, when Apple and them talk, what are they talking all the time? When they're talking those smooth voices with their jeans, they're always talking about solutions. We're here, we're here to solve all your life's problems by selling you the same product over and over and over again. And you'll keep paying more for it, suckers. Why? Because we keep selling you on solutions that you think you need. The first thing is solutions. You've got to provide solutions, and these have to be genuine. What's another feature of WMG?
Quality control via analyst.
Analysis. That's a feature or a benefit, and that's a benefit of the community, right? But what's another feature?
Financial freedom.
Guys, the main features of WMG. Features. WMG TV. What's that? What's the advantage of WMG TV?
Learn on demand, anytime.
Can you hear this? Learn on demand, anytime, anywhere, from your mobile phone or PC. You have an entire trading course. Imagine a course where you went once. How many people have been to courses where they went once, wrote down all the notes, forgot everything? You can keep going back and watching it. It's recorded. You have the course there all the time to train you. And once you have that knowledge, you never forget it. It's with you. That's a benefit to you, right? Give me another feature. Mentorship. Boy, what's CEO Club like? How many of you sold CEO Club? Guys, we're in this thing called CEO Club. You get to be part of the club. Why do we have CEO Club? We want people to have a feeling when they're in Wealth Mentor. You're not working for Tobi Arayomi's company. You are a CEO. Imagine if everybody really got that. I'm CEO now. I own a company. You wouldn't give yourself as many day offs as you're giving yourself. You'd be on all the time. But see, if you still got a job mentality, you're kind of here when you want there. You just do things emotionally. But when you're a CEO, you got your figures, your numbers written on the board. You're ready to hit it. You've got your targets. You're running with it. And CEOs also know how to do many things well. We multitask. We were built for stress and pressure. That's why not everybody's a CEO. Not everybody is cut out for business. I believe that wholeheartedly. But do I believe you can develop the skills to be cut out? Absolutely, 100%. But it's you that has to choose it. I can't choose it for you. I can teach you this stuff, but if you don't choose it for yourself, and you just take it down as nice notes, but you don't choose it for you, it will never work, okay? It's another feature, Forex signals. Do you know what I've done when I do my course? I've written down all the features of WMG. Forex signals. What else is a feature? And Forex signals gives you the advantage, earn while you learn. What else? Compensate. Don't call it a compensation plan. That's not our language. What's it called? Why is that different? Why is that different? Why is WMG economy different from compensation plan? What does compensation sound like?
You're getting a payout for something that went wrong.
Right. Why would we call it a compensation? It sounds like you've been personally injured at your workplace, you fell off a ladder, and now we're giving you compensation. What are we offering you instead? An economy. So we can say, guys, what's your current economy working like for you? Are you finding the price of things are getting higher and your money staying the same? But how about creating your own economy? And the advantage of this economy is if you don't have the money, have you ever done a trading course where by the time you're done, you spent so much on the course, you had no money to trade with? Yeah. See how you all went, yeah, I just sold you. That's how easy it is. But you've got to provide a solution. What else are we selling? Freedom and time, right? But now look at this. I come to you and I go, hey, man, I got this business, it's WMG, and it's amazing. Let me tell you what it's going to do. It's going to really help you solve your marital issues, Reese. Now, look, I've offended him. Number one, he's not even married. Number two, like, who are you? When did I tell you I have marriage problems? Or, hey, look, it's going to solve some of that loneliness. There's a community. Or, hey, you know, you're pretty bad at learning, so it's going to give you signals, and you could just dumb yourself down and learn and just follow the signals blindly. What do I need? I need to know the problem. I need to know the problem. Otherwise, if I don't know the problem, I'm going to sell you what you don't need. And that's when people feel mortified in the sales process. They hate it. That's when they actually start asking you really weird questions like, are you even regulated? Open your trading account, show me right now. What are they questioning? Your trust and competence. They're looking at you like, incompetent. They know it. You're not there to listen, you're there to make a sale. You are after the immediate yes, and that's your problem. You're not listening. You don't care about the person you're talking to. It's not about selling, it's about relationships. And in relationships, people will teach you how to sell. I was talking to Miguel. I said, Miguel, how did you achieve that rank? He achieved some of the biggest ranks that took people like 6 months or a year to reach. He did it in a month. And then the next month he smashed again. And this month he's determined to smash it again. I said, Miguel, how are you doing this? He said, Toby, I wasn't trying to sell. I determined for 1 week to have conversations and nothing else. He's calling people to have conversations. Why? Because in the midst of conversations, people are teaching you how to sell. But see, you have to really care about people to know how to sell. Because how can, if you have the solution to their problem, you're selfish to keep it to yourself. But you're hearing their problems every day, but you're not listening. And they're telling them to you. So next time you have a call, you say, well, remember that time, and I don't mean to be hitting you here, but remember that time where you were telling me about that marriage thing that was going on with you? How's that going right now? Oh, it's going okay, but I'm just always at this work, so I never get to spend time. What would you do if I said I had something for you? I don't know if you even qualify for it fully, but I've got something for you. If you're interested, that might give you a bit more time. I know some people personally, and I myself have been making some substantial income from my own home, and it's given me the freedom and time that I needed to spend the time with my children. How's it making you feel right now, not being able to spend time with your kids? It's heartbreaking. Listen, when you connect something to an emotion, people would be willing to do anything to solve it. This isn't manipulation. This means that you have to actually be authentic people. And if you're not, then you're just sleazy WMG salespeople, and that would I'll just be like, please leave. You got to be real. This is a culture. It's a reality. It's actually a beauty. When you join the community, we're the friendliest. We talk. It's real. It's real. And we want to be the real thing. We want to continue to be the real thing. We never want to be fake. So you're there to provide, solve a problem. But let's say I come to you and I say, Reese, you know, I got this. I keep picking on Reese. Reese, I got this WMG. It gives you signals. It provides all this stuff for you. You can really sit down and be lazy like you want to be and not learn anything you want to learn. I'm still insulting you. Why? I haven't gathered information. See, if I'm going to solve your problems, you have to offer me information. Have you ever met people who you find just easy to talk to? Sometimes, how many of you share problems with people who gossip? Anyone? You know, everyone does. Everyone does. You think we only share things with people we trust? No, we share things with people we don't trust, because sometimes if you want to get information out really quickly, you share it with a gossiper. And the best way to get it out is tell the gossiper, don't tell anyone, it's a secret. Get the information. Get the information while they're talking to you. It's like, you know, how many of you have had these conversations even just this week? I just don't have time like I want to. I'm broke, man. There's just no money in this world. And then you jumped in quickly for the sale, not knowing they could have offered you more information. And the best information is one you connect to feelings. How's that making you feel right now? Man, it makes me feel like a loser. He feels like a loser. I feel like a champion. But I just joined this kid. He's feeling like this. Oh, do you know what? Tell me more about that. What are you doing? You're gaining trust. I'm showing you to reverse engineer the sale. Actually, you're going to find Each one of these relies on the one beneath. I cannot have the solution if I don't have the problem. I can't have the problem if I don't have the information. I will not get the information if you don't trust me and you don't believe I'm competent. And by the way, can I say what competence is here, guys? Those of you who joined WMG, but you don't want to learn how to trade, I'm coming for you right now. I want you to learn how to trade. I'm saying this with all kindness. This does not mean you don't get to share the opportunity. Share it. But have every intention of learning, every intention, because people may even try your level of competence. And if you don't feel the competence, like they might say to you, look, show me your trading account. This is competence and trust. I haven't really started to build my trading account right now. I'm still learning how to trade at this moment. But I'm telling you now, what I'm learning is some of the best information that I've ever heard. And there are people who I can introduce you to who are making some serious income on business. It's part of trust and competence. Part of trust and competence also deals with how you share stories. You've got to be, we're great storytellers as human beings. You've got to be able to share stories. This is what creates trust and competence at a stronger level. Now, I want you, by the way, do this with people you already know. And actually, it's easier with people you already know because you have something with people you already know. It's called rapport. And this is where I'll leave you alone. Rapport is the most important part of the sales process. But rapport begins first when you define your customer. You've got to define your customer. If you don't define what your customer looks like, if you don't know what you're looking for in a customer or in a business builder or in a leader, distributor, a trader, if you don't know what you're looking for, if you haven't defined your customer, who is your customer, you won't know who to build rapport with. You won't know them when you see them, and yet they're walking past you all the time. I actually believe if you got a pulse, you can be a customer with WMG, because it's not like a drink or anything. It's something that everyone needs. Our product is money. Our service is money. Well, it's education. But here's the rapport building. Rapport is turned into an acronym, and the acronym for rapport is this: really, all people prefer others reflecting themselves. This is why when I go to another country to speak, because I speak a lot, I often ask them for the language. And it doesn't mean I need to know fluently how to speak your language. I might ask, how do I say hello, have a good day, and good night? And the moment I take the microphone and I open up my mouth and I'm able to speak in that country's language, I forget it immediately, I leave the door. But the moment I greet them in their language, I remember doing it in Tamil. And I spoke in the language, I can't remember it now, but I said, good morning, how are you all today? And the whole church erupted in laughter and they started clapping for me. What did I build? Rapport. Really, all people prefer others reflecting themselves. How do you build rapport? You build rapport first by caring. First. This is what I'm saying. You don't get to get away with WMG. We don't get to get away with unethical business practices. We don't get to get away with bringing people into our business, leaving them and not caring about them through the process. This is why when I do calls, and I constantly do this, I give people away. I only give them away to people that I know will take care of them. And the people I know will take care of them are the people I keep hearing being reported on. These are leaders. Leaders care. The first question people ask you when it comes to following you in leadership is this: do you care about me as a person? Do you really care? Let me tell you, if anyone has ever questioned you in the area of your competence, it's because while you were talking, they thought, this guy doesn't even care about me. He's just trying to make money. This girl doesn't care about me. They're just trying to add to their compensation plan. But when you really care about people, business takes on an intuitive and very natural shape. And that means, and you've got to learn to build care quickly. If you're like Juan, who's in our office, he's out on a daily basis talking to people on the streets about WMG. He's got 5 people ready for us to talk to in a meeting. I want to stand him up on camera and show you how this guy is looking like a fine man all of a sudden. Come on. Come on, Juan, show him. Show him. You guys call him Esperado. Desperado. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Well done. Thank you. Appreciate you. Think about this. What are we doing? We're building. When he's out there, he has to build an immediate connection, immediate rapport. Imagine that with a stranger. How do you build immediate rapport? Well, the first thing, I got to show you that I really care about you. The way I talk to you has to communicate. I care about your future, your financial future. Are you really thinking about it right now? It has to communicate that. It has to feel like that. And the way, first it has to show in care. And again, one of the most strong statements in the whole world was coined by John Maxwell. It's, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. They don't care about your trading and your Forex and your this and your that. You'll belly flop your sale if people don't sense you care. Am I right, Nathan? Yep. You'll belly flop your sale. If people don't sense the feeling of this guy really cares, it will go downhill very quickly. You know, the number one comment I get when it comes to business, they say, I trust someone like you. You'll care about our future when we join your business. You're not going to scam us. That's called a built reputation. You've actually, that has to, see, again, this is what I mean. You don't get to be a fake salesperson. You have to be this 24/7. You have to be a caring person 24/7. I know it's exhausting. How can I care about other people? I promise you, you will literally become richer when you're willing to do more for others than you're willing to do for yourself. Let me say that again because that was so good. You'll literally become richer when you're willing to do more for others than you would do for yourself. Literally. Literally. Do you know how many leaders are born in conversations when you allowed them to cry on the phone? When you allowed them to vent their honesty? Do you know how many leaders are born in simple conversations? You don't know what words you say that will spark the light of a leader on the inside of somebody. But when you care, it's very easy to ignite it. When you don't care, it's like when I was trying to light my barbecue, but the matches have been in the rain, nothing was lighting. Care is extremely important to the trade, to the sale. The other thing that's very important is the skill of listening. It's a muscle. I know all of us believe that we're great listeners until we get married. When you get married, you'll realize very quickly you have only been listening to yourself your entire life. You also realize you talk too much and you need to listen more. You'll develop a skill, and this is the skill you'll develop. It's called compassionate listening. And compassionate listening is the most emotionally intelligent state you can be in, because to be compassionate is different from sympathy. Sympathy says, I feel sorry for you. Compassion says, I can put myself in your position. It's a quick way to build rapport. Now, someone might say to you, let's say you're a male and a woman says to you, man, I can't do this because I'm pregnant and I just had 2 babies, and you're a male, and you go, I know what that feels like. She'll be like, what? When have you given birth? What can you say instead? Well, do you know what? I don't quite know what that feels like, or the extent to which you're going through that. And I'm sure it can be hugely difficult for you. But I'd hate for you to be robbed of an opportunity because you believe something about yourself that's just not true. We have so many women in this business, example, this person, who are building this business whilst being successful single moms. I actually believe that you can do it too. What am I doing? I'm building that rapport. I've listened to you. I've heard what you said. I didn't do false compassion and say, I can relate. You know how they do on the phone when you do customer service? They teach you to say, sorry to hear that. It's the most insincere thing. It's like you say, you call customer service, yeah, my dog just died. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And even then, when they say that, you feel some sense of, yeah. And now you're going to open up to Barclays Bank person about your whole life because they demonstrated listening. Listening has to be active. And to help be an active listener, you've got to have a list of very, very powerful questions. Very powerful questions. If you don't know what they are, literally, when I used to go to speak to important people, because I would choke when I'll be in the midst of important people, I would write a list of powerful questions. If you want to be the most powerful person in the room, have the most powerful questions, not answers. Questions. Questions that draw out the greatest answers in people. And they don't need to be great. The greatest questions are often the simplest. How do you feel today? How does that make you feel? Can you tell me more about that? And let me tell you what else you've got to learn to do. If you're going to build rapport, you've got to build trust that you're listening. How do you do this? This is a very intuitive muscle I'm going to teach you to exercise now. You almost have to be really in tune with people to be able to do this. And if you're out of tune with people, and there are people who are completely out of tune with people. I don't know if you met them, I call them social elephants. They're totally out of tune. They're the kind of people that could dance at your funeral. They're just out of tune with the atmosphere. They're just social elephants. You just got to stop it. If you're going to build rapport with people, how do you build rapport? Well, I've got to meet you where you are. I've got to connect with you where you are. I've got to reassure you that I'm listening. How do I do this? I say, would I be right in saying what you're saying is that you want to spend a lot more time with your children and it's making you feel terrible that you don't get to have that personal one-on-one time with your kids. And I feel as though you might be saying, and please again correct me if I'm wrong because people hate being judged. Please again correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel as though what you're saying is you would like to have that time to be there for your children growing up because your dad wasn't really there when you were growing up. Yes, that's exactly how I feel. Let me tell you what you've just built in doing that. Trust and competence, and they're going to offer you more information. And the more information they offer you, the more problems that you can apply the solutions, the fabs, to these problems. And you'll be able to solve them. Guys, final skill. And this one's a quick one. When you've brought people in, the job's not done. There's 3 parts to this. Recruitment, then there's retention, then there's reproduction. How do you retain? How do you retain? I found out the other day that there are high levels of turnover in business. People leave very quickly in businesses, especially young businesses, because they're fast-paced businesses. We've actually had quite high retention. Am I correct? We've had very high retention in WMG. It's, I heard Forex companies, what was the figure? They have about 15% retention. We've had well above 60, 70% retention, month on month. It's all to do with the culture. And I hope that you guys who have joined us new would be protectors of the culture. We really do care about people. And please don't be that person who says, I joined and no one cares about me. If you want friends, you've got to be friendly. Don't be that person who goes to every organization, every family, every place you meet. Do you realize you've said that everywhere? Let's just pause for a second. I'm loving you. You've said that everywhere. You've been to everywhere. Nobody love me. No, 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 love me. It's the story. And the truth is, what you don't know, it's becoming the self-fulfilling prophecy. You believe it, you're projecting it, you're creating it. Why don't you instead, that famous saying, don't ask what your country can do for you, ask instead what you can do for your country. Why don't you ask instead what you can do for WMG? Why don't you come like some of the girls and guys in the business that just said to me, hey look, I'm going to do a poll and find out what people like and don't like. I so respect that lady who did that. Or that person who says, do you know what, I'm going to come and help you with admin, Nathan. I so respect Marlene, who comes to the office, volunteers her time. So respect Dennis, who comes to the office, volunteering his time to say, I want to help forward this business. I believe in the vision. Mary, who some of you don't even know these guys, who without, we wouldn't be a company. It's like God has just blessed us with good people. Dennis Macharia, who's always down, Sterling Record and Miguel, who are always there, Chido and Andrew, who are always analyzing, and now Yakshan. And if I haven't mentioned your name, listen, these are the legends of WMG who came and are becoming richer because they said, you know what, I'm not going to wait for WMG to change me. I'm going to be the change agent. I'm going to happen. I'm not going to wait for things to happen to me. I'm going to be here. I'm not here to try this. I'm here to do this. And we can win together. We can actually win together. That's leadership. Okay? How do you retain and reproduce? This is it. Everyone who comes will first come as a customer. A customer. Treat them like a customer. But don't leave them in the mindset of a customer for too long. As a mindset of a customer, you are onboarding them when they come. You're onboarding them. You're showing them this is what you get. Show them, resell every feature when you're onboarding. Every feature. WMG TV, access to it, and tell them write it down. All the features they have access to. Why? Because you're teaching them how to sell in the future. By sharing every feature. You got WMG, let me show you how it works. You notice I demo it and I press play so people can see it, feel it, experience it. And I see the comments, wow, this is excellent. It's just that we become familiar. The death of business is familiarity. The death of anything great is familiarity. Familiarity always leads to dishonor. Customers. You have customers. That's your first funnel. You want these customers to funnel down and become distributors. That means you want them to experience something so good in their first month. Maybe it's hitting the golden rank, senior partner. When people hit that rank, it's just, I'm ready to go now from here. That's my golden rank, to get my people to senior partner. And then I move them into a chat called Wealth Nation, and it's to get them to senior director. Or part of my golden thing to do is to get them live trading. If I can do that, I've converted you from a customer to a distributor. Especially if I see now like people like Jennifer and Byron posting, even if it's demo trading, they're seeing it. There's a believability that's created in the fact that a service works. And not just as it works in a trusting atmosphere where people aren't out to shark or snake you. Okay? Then what I want you to do, help them hit the core ranks or the core values. Then your next thing is to produce a leaders factory. That's why we do CEO Club. A leaders factory. This is where from the people who are distributors or hit those core ranks or do the trades, you start saying, I'm drawing you to lead. And as you train them, all you're doing is sowing seed. All you're doing, you're becoming the leader. You're training them. You're developing them on things you're learning in CEO Club. It's the greatest way to grow. Teach. Whatever you get, pass it forward immediately. I'm telling you right now, whatever I've taught you today, teach someone immediately and you won't forget it. Find someone just to share it with and you won't forget it. It will actually ignite in you the more you teach people. What I've just taught you today, you'll forget this in an hour if you don't teach it to someone. Find someone, pay it forward, give it away for free. Say, what I learned today, share it on your social media. Say, look, I'm going to do a Zoom call for anyone who wants to learn to sell tonight. I want to share it with you. Share it with your team, reshare it. What I taught, break it down in your groups. And let me tell you what happens. Leaders are born in meetings like this. In times like this, somebody says, I was with, listening to Michael, who I so love and respect. And I was listening to Michael, and Michael said, it was something that you said in a CL Club that lit the match. Something is said in every one of these meetings to a sleeping CEO. There are sleeping giants in WMG. Sleeping giants. And one of these calls just goes and lights the match. And you got to be that leader that has the ability to light something on the inside of your people. And then let me tell you what's born. Rock stars. That's the final level. Rock stars. Rock stars are your Lamborghini, Bugatti types who now walk in, but they're changing the world now. They are changing the world. I just come back from India. We just put some fountains up. And we just helped these sex-trafficked children. We built these orphanages over here, and we did this. But also, look, I got a Bugatti, a Lamborghini, and a jet. Why not? Why am I talking about causes like this? This is what I want to leave you with if you're going to achieve this. Have a goal bigger than you. And let me tell you what will push you. I don't count my prosperity by how much I have. I always count my prosperity by how much I get to give away. Find something so emotional and do this. Let's say it's a charity. I give to an orphanage to young children in Brazil. And I give every single month to this cause. And I'm actually calling people to find different causes I can give to. I'm going to be calling Andrew this week because he mentioned something about offenders. It's a big thing for me. Men sitting in prison, potential sitting in prison, locked up. They could be learning skills, trading, whatever. I'll gladly give this skill for free. I'll gladly offer them employment in our fund when we set it up. Now, when you do that, go personally. I want to do something in our office. I want to implement like a Friday where we just go and feed the poor. We just get cash and buy food and we just go and dish. There's something about when you feel what you can do for another human being that drives you to build more. There's something about it. I can't explain it. And what I want to raise the ethical entrepreneur. And part of it is, can you feel what it's like to do something for somebody else that they couldn't do for themselves because money had the ability to answer all things? Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this WMG session, how to sell, the power of the sale. And I hope you share this video. I hope you comment. Part of marketing, again, the skill of marketing. Help us, be the marketing force. Don't be that guy who just says, yeah, I'll do it later. Write a comment, not just on the side in the main chat. Write a comment on the YouTube channel underneath the video. Share the link to the video on your socials. Tell people you've got to watch this session. It was so powerful. And then tell them to get back to you when they've watched it, because you're going to tell them about what you do. That's part of marketing, guys. It's part of selling. Be authentic, be real, be true. I'll catch up with you all soon.